As you entered into the final round of the fight, you managed to take down what appeared to be a giant gray giant. Whatever the thing was, you managed to clear him out of the area. After some time, your teammates and your companions managed to take down the rest of the side that you were against and opposed. While you did not meet everyone, a lot of casualties on both sides were lost, but thankfully enough, most of them were on the enemy side. Now, with that out of the way and with things that you've managed to procure, you now stand in the home base tent about to discuss a few things. Before I get to that, however, I believe one of you made mention of what we found on the battlefield. You weren't the only ones that went there, but the things that you could have found was Shade has it already, but one of the blades of something you technically don't really know, but out of game you do know. A very powerful blade Shade has, and its final seal broke. Beyond that, however, you could have found what appeared to be a fire-tipped arrow case, which has 30 standard arrows with the additional 1d6 bonus fire damage. Let's see, beyond that, what else your team would probably try to snag before anyone else? 2 gemstones worth 1,000 gold. One's a ruby onyx and the other one's a quartz pearl. Let's see here.
I was in the back, so you all get first dibs on that.
One wand, which I'm just going to say you examine these and cast identify. Because even if you don't, you'll have people there that can. The wand basically does nothing. It just adds an additional plus 1d4 to any attack damage you do. So it's good, but it doesn't give you like an extra spell or something like that.
I wonder what I wanted to do now. I wanted to incorporate my new cantrip somehow into my weapon. Would that be possible?
You're gonna have to explain to me how your character would do that.
Type
thinking
something
about
like
it.
that in the chat, man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Other than that, everyone else would probably have grabbed other things. You weren't the only people that were fighting on your side. Let's see here.
Was there anything on the big giant? I would have searched that if no one else did, because I killed it. It's mine.
A giant warhammer. It does have a magical property to it, but it is also cursed. You can't really discern what the curse is. However, it does do 2d10 extra damage in addition to the warhammer damage. It also does a magical component in addition to this, but it's correlated with the magical effect of the curse. So you'll have to put yourself in a curse in order to figure that out.
Man, if only I was a barbarian or something.
It is magical, and like other magical things, it shrinks down to the size of the wielder. Or shrinks up.
I know, but I'm talking about, like, I don't even think I'm proficient with this unless it's yeah, no, it's a warhammer, right? So it would be martial.
It'd be a martial weapon. So maybe a fighter or someone that has a not magical, but a feat.
Yeah, I don't, so I picked lucky. I'm not going to tell anyone that once I receive the information from someone who is decidedly not in the group.
Yeah, I'm just going to say
like
some
that'd be really
random
funny.
dude told you about it. Some dwarf looked at it. Currently is taking it away.
All right. Then,
Into the camp area.
Neat.
But it's there. Like, if you want to ask him for it. But anyways. You entered inside the tent, and I'm just going to say it happens here because I just don't want to drag you all back to the battlefield. Time passes and you all manage to come back together. However, Shade, you do have that blade that you acquired from the dead entity your team had slain, basically you and Kelmore. However, as you stand there just waiting for whatever message Blake's about to give you, the last final seal breaks. It immediately, anyone that is in possession of a shard of sin begins to sync up with everyone else. In a brief second, you get a quick glimpse of everyone's current location. Thankfully enough, most of you are in the area. However, you see two additional glimpses outside of this zone. One is heading towards the tent itself, and one seems to be looking at a forest at the height of maybe 20 feet.
I rush out of the tent to look at where the other one that's coming towards us is.
Based on how you're looking at things, they might be still heading there. You just know that they're coming in this direction. This tent itself is roughly 18 to...
Do we know which one it is?
No. Just those with the shards of sin could sync up for a quick second of other people there. Or at least of the other entities that possess these blades. Now then, as this happens, everyone's pulsing... Not pulsing. Everyone's pulse... No, yeah, they're just pulsing. Heart begins to pump harder and faster. In addition to what has just happened, your blade is now awakened. So any damage you do with the blade does an additional 1d10. In addition to whatever else I gave you to it. The damage...
All of our blades are awakened?
Those that possess the Shard of Sin.
Okay, so that was good.
What are you weirdos staring at? Just staring off into space on me.
For a quick glance, Bartholomew, they were just zoning out for like 5 seconds.
So add 1d10 to Lilith.
An extra 1d10 on top of whatever it was doing in the first place.
What damage type?
Necrotic. Afterwards, you then get a enhanced ability of perpetual movement. Your speed increases by an additional 5 feet. And lastly, your AC goes up by 1.
So our AC goes up 1 and we get more movement, correct?
Yes.
I telepathically talk to Jolter and ask her, "Are you okay? What happened?"
As soon as you connect with your blade, you hear nothing from your blade whatsoever. You feel and sense as you've been connecting with your blade that there's no longer an entity inside. Whatever just happened, whatever truly awakened your blade, it caused it to, in a sense, flatten out. Whatever is inside your blade has, in less than simple terms, melded together with your form.
I gasp and I fall to my knees, and a single tear drops from my eye as I whisper out, "Jolter."
It's
What happened? You break your sword? The insensitive Bartholomew says.
So wait, I can't sense Lilith anymore?
No, when you try to connect, you sense no entity within your blades.
You said movement speed 1d10 and then plus 1 AC, correct?
Movement 10, 1d10. Movement speed increases by 5. You add an additional necrotic d10 dice. And then the AC plus 1.
Okay, that's fine. You got that. Yeah. Okay. I'm up to date.
Kelmore, since you've been the one that has been mostly combined, or at least attempting to connect with your blade, you do, and will likely assume that the increase within your own abilities is due to the, I would say infusion, more like fusion though, of both entities together. There might be a way of reversing it, but right now you don't really know.
Has my blade say anything to me after this? Like, is it whisper anything? Because I haven't really tried to talk to my blade, and it still has the ion stone in it. Does the ion stone come out? Or
As you
anything?
look down at your blade to see what's going on with Kelmore, why he's freaking out about his blade, you see
my
that
blade's
the
like
ion
vibrating.
stone is cracked. Shade, you look at yours and you also see that yours is cracked.
Oh fuck! So I'm like, I don't think whatever. I kind of like say like, not to myself, like out loud, but like kind of myself, like whatever just happened. I don't think it was good, or I think something has just started, and I don't think we can stop it. And like
Man,
I
y'all
kind
just
of go a
broke your
little pale.
swords. Calm down.
No, I don't think it's broken. I think something broke in us. Ah, okay, nice. Just play. I put my sword away. Just
Alright.
kidding. Don't kill me now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do with my sword now. That's broken. I'm a little worried to use it or touch it.
Star looks towards you and then simply states, well, it's not as if you were actually talking to the thing to begin with. But that just might mean that you will now be able to use it without, how should I phrase this and not be insensitive? Getting some sort of transmuted disease from it.
What
Or
have you been
curse?
doing with those swords?
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Anyway, I look at Star. I'm like, Star, be nice. Kelmore just needs friends. That's why he talks to his blade. Anyway, I just kind of nod, and I feel the blade vibrating with energy in my hand. I'm kind of excited about it. By the way, we got like no rest or anything, right? We have no short rest or anything.
Not yet.
We're just going to the next battle. Okay, well we got healed though, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, so temporary hit points are there, just not the. I mean, the temporary hit points are gone.
Like
Okay.
your health is fine now. They've
Don't you-
healed you up,
Okay.
but your spells and stuff are gone right now.
I wouldn't even touch them last fight, so even if I lose the temp HP, that just means well, I lose everything, don't I?
So that means we don't really level up then until we rest, right? Then.
You will be resting, but I'm just saying right now, unless you want
Okay.
to start a fight.
No, I don't think so. Punch Bartholomew.
Your mother
Can
looks
she-
ugly.
Can Shade tell anything about the sword that he's holding now?
You can discern that whatever this thing is, you possess it in your being now. This is a shard of sin, and that is the most factoring thing. However, Shade, you can also tell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, that doesn't seem right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, Shade has 2. That yours was the one you just now acquired is different. Examining beforehand and looking at what you had encountered before, you do know that these blades are able to sync up at one point or another. This blade itself seems to be, or at least was at one point, the hilt. And I accidentally clicked out of roll 20.
Well, maybe you should stop doing that.
I'm
Might help
clicking
you
back in.
DM better.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
so
I got
it's
it working.
that primordial spell I know that can combine all the shards of sin.
Yes.
So this one is like one of the primary catalysts of that.
It is the primary catalyst. You had it assumed, and it's a pretty easy assumption. I'm not even going to make you roll. The main reason why that specific blade was so protected is for that very reason.
Okay. Would I need to attune to it to use it and learn more about it?
I will say you can only attune or connect with one shard at a time,
Okay.
but they are all now awoken. So you're not exactly sure if that limitation is now irrelevant. You can
I'm
attempt
looking
to.
for Lilith in my head.
You feel no connection towards any other being. Let's see. I don't think any of you are clerics, but if you were, you no longer can connect with your god. You still receive the abilities and the effects that they can give you.
I'm a paladin.
The effects and the abilities that they can give you. That tethering is bonded to your soul. However, your mind can't really connect properly. It's as if something else is blocking it. If you have a spell that can commune with your god, that is still possible. You, like normal, you would have to make a roll, but the sometimes rolls when you try to ask your gods a few things, and I just let you guys have it. If you roll well enough on religion, that is no longer possible.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna try. I don't know how much Shade knows or not, but he's gonna try and basically connect with this new sword he has, since it seems important and strong.
All right, you will be doing that probably while everyone else is freaking out, except for Bartholomew. Bartholomew is really not sure what's going on.
I actually have a sword of virtue. Is that like dealing with anything, or
Yes,
I haven't
actually,
talked to it in a while. Should
you
probably
get a
to know it.
residual ping from your blade, but you don't really get the same type of effects that everyone else is.
Uh-huh.
May
Yeah, no,
I-
y'all are crazy.
May I do something?
Go for it.
Scream.
I stand back up and put myself back together, and I step forward
So,
to.
I'm confused for a second. Someone has 2 shards of sin now?
I have no shards of sin. I have my sword of virtue, which is hope.
Yes, Shade has 2 shards of sin that you don't know of. Kelmore might have an inclination, but no one else knows. Kelmore, you were saying.
I step forward to Blake and her team, and I tell them something just happened. A vision popped into my mind. It seems that there are 2 more wielders of the Blades of Sin, and one of them is approaching towards our camp as we speak.
Cool. Let's negotiate with them and/or kill them.
I might agree with Bartholomew there. If I had to wager on what's exactly going on, I assume the last home stretch, if you will, of this war is about to happen, which is why I primarily gathered you all here to assist with the current matter at hand. We were able to take out the leaders of the congruent army that we just faced, but now they simply have numbers. With our organizational skills, we are able to take down the rest of the fleets that they possess. So that is not necessarily the greatest concern. However, we were also able to attain, or at least dog ascertain, it's fine, where exactly these entities receive their powers and gifts. Luckily enough, one of our scouts was able to track down these, I would call them leaders, but they're more like beings. At least that's what she described them as. I'll have the scout come in soon. But if there's anything you need to discuss, we will have the privacy we have now.
There is one thing I'd like to discuss, and it's about there are 3 people. I give them their names because I can't remember them at the moment. These people are my sisters, and they're currently possessed by these powers of these beings. If possible, after they are defeated and or killed, they should have their link to these beings severed. I would request if they can be resurrected or brought back after the deed is done, if you by chance come across them before I do.
That is an interesting discussion. You gave him the names, you gave him the descriptions. She does state, though, I will be here manning the entire fleet and making sure that we win these scrimmages. However, we will likely send out a team to figure out more about these entities that our scout has found. If you would like to join them, I see no reason why you shouldn't. But their main mission would be to take these entities out.
Are we trying to find the entities or the people who are being used by the entities?
The people that are being used by the entities are the other side, the wave of enemies that you just now faced. That was just one wave, but they still have other numbers. They are still being or given gifts. We surmised, based on the autopsy we did on the giant gray one, that it was given abilities that were not of its own volition, let alone its own natural ability.
I misspoke my question. Earlier, when you said that you were sending scouts, I thought you meant that you were looking for where these entities are located. And I was wondering if you meant the people who are being possessed and used or the entities themselves. That's what I meant.
It's quite possible that they're one and the same. Which is why I'm sending out for my scout now.
As I'm aware, the entities and the people are not the same. It's more of a possession of a sort. All you would really do if you killed the possessor, the possessed, would be just to sever the link. You wouldn't kill the person. I mean, you wouldn't kill the entity.
We don't necessarily need to kill them. We just need to stop them from giving any more strength to the enemy.
All right. I just thought I'd make mention of it and request that you didn't kill them if possible, or perma-kill them. Do you have Scroll of Revivify?
I have 2, but they're mainly going to be used for those that require them on the field. I can send
Alright.
one out to the scouting team that will head out to these.
Real quick, which ones are the virtues from the gods or the sins from the gods?
Virtues are from the gods.
Okay, and the sins are from the other things?
The elder things.
Okay.
Or the old ones, is how I've been describing them.
I'm blessed.
What do you want us
Except
to
that
do?
we're enemies of the gods, so I guess not. I don't know.
Well,
you
we're
want us
currently
to-
aligned with the army of the gods, but using the weapons of the Elder Ones against their armies.
Yeah, well,
What do you want us to do?
I guess when you look at it that way.
Right now, I want you to rest. Once the scout arrives and receives and gives the information, that is when, or right after, soon after, I would like you to rest.
Very well.
After that, you will have a choice to make. She says that the guard or the scout, because it doesn't seem like anyone else needs to discuss anything in private, enters inside. Blake then looks towards her and simply states, "All right, thank you for arriving. It's not really an issue. Don't worry about it. Let's see here. You wanted to know what I figured out about the little cave system I found not too long ago. Yes, that'd actually be beneficial. I'm afraid I can't go myself, which is unfortunate, but I would rather have as many lives saved on the field than anything else. No, that's perfectly alright. Sorry I couldn't kill them myself. Kind of didn't have the power to. It's perfectly fine." Then she goes over towards Silver. "Oh, hey, Silver, how's it going?" "Alright. How's it going, little sis?" "You know, things are good. But you probably want the information now. That'd probably be best." "Right." She looks towards her team, and then towards Blake's team, and then generally towards the room. "Alright, this is what I have so far. Right now, I found 5 beings inside of a cave system, but that's not the weird thing. The weird thing is that from time to time throughout the day, they have visitors coming inside, and afterwards, they come out with maybe more strength, maybe more vigor. Maybe some of them are on fire, but they aren't dying. Some of them change form all out together and become these grotesque, monstrous things. This is what Blake is surmising where their strength is coming from. Sometimes, however, things just come out of the cave system, which is not good, which means that they're getting enemy numbers from somewhere else, which is never a great thing. I don't know if they have magical barriers or anything like that set up. I don't use magic myself. I'm more sneak in, stab, then get out. But if I don't think I can do it, I don't bother. I just collect the information and head out. So if there's spells in there that hinder my own abilities, I honestly couldn't tell you. That being said, though, they all seem to be scurried around in different areas, more than likely to make sure that no one kills them all in the same area. But for some reason, they won't go into the south westmost section of the cave system. And I honestly got a really bad vibe there, so I didn't go myself. Beyond that, though, they all seem humanoid, but they aren't necessarily human. 3 of them looked like females. 1 looked like a blue, maybe elemental thing. I honestly can't tell you what it honestly looked like. But the 5th one kind of looked like a... best way I could describe it is some squid person. But without squid face, more like squid tentacle hair.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. Never mind.
Perhaps some kinds of priests of the Elder Ones.
Maybe. I don't really know what that means. All I can tell is, based on how they looked, they aren't exactly like anyone else I've ever met. She does give you the description of these entities, and 3 of them do resemble Kelmore sisters, to those that have met all 3.
I met 2 of them. I don't. Oh yeah, I met all of them. Never mind. So yeah.
Like, if you met 2 of them, you can clearly tell at least 2 of them are sisters.
Yeah, I think everyone who met all 3, because there's the unconscious one that we rescued, and then the other 2 we met at the same time in the Temple of Time.
Once she finishes that, though, she lays down on a map, the same map the group's been using, and marks the site. After today, me and about 2 more, will be heading out there to scout the area and perhaps take at least one of them out or alive. If you're all willing to come, great. If not, Blake could probably use the help on the war front. Looks towards Silver. Yeah, so I'll catch you later, sis. Alright. Just make sure you don't die out there. It's not really me you have to worry about. It's about anyone else that doesn't hear me coming.
I wanted to do a perception check on her.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see here. Passive of 24, check of 26.
Okay. You can tell she has a sheath blade on her, and you can discern based on the 2 blades you have, that one of them... it's not the same. Like, all the blades don't look the same, but they all have the same presence. This one has a similar presence to it as well.
Okay. So this, I would guess that most likely this was the one we sensed coming towards the tent.
You don't really know that. It could have been coming to you, or it could have been the one that was 20 feet in the sky looking at the forest.
Right. Okay.
But she
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. She looks towards the group and simply states, "All right. If you need me, I'll be out at the campsite. If not, well, then have fun."
Thank you for the information.
As soon as she's out of the tent, Shade will turn to the group and say, "She had the 6th blade on her."
Interesting.
Man, your sisters, man.
Blake, is it okay if she had one of the Blades of Sin on her person?
As long as she's not causing any trouble. I mean, you all have one, I'm assuming. The way you're describing things.
Most
Should
of
you
us
not
do.
have them?
I was just making sure because I made the comment earlier that one of the blades was coming this way.
It's quite possible she was the one that was coming this way. But that, if that is the case, well, then she has arrived. Can you see where they are now?
No, it was just a flash of a moment. But I just thought I'd make mention of it, just in case.
Well, we'll keep an eye on her, but for now, much like yourselves, she has yet to, she puts up air quotes, turn evil.
So, would you like us to make the decision now or later?
I would suggest taking a rest and then deciding. As
And I-
Silver Sister has stated, she and her group will be heading out tomorrow. So you have until then to do so.
Is there like a shop or a place we can go to stock up on supplies?
There are a few things you can pick up, but there's not really a shop here.
Alright, then I would like to go to wherever it is that I can stock up at.
She pointed direction where you can. Right now you have access, like everyone has access to any type of standard weapon, 2 health potions, 5 rations, 2 ropes, a pickaxe, thieves' tools, and let's see here. I think that was it.
What
Yes.
type of health potions?
2 standard health potions.
I'd like
And
to
everyone
buy,
has access to all of these, right?
Yes.
Like,
I'd like to buy, if I have to, 2 standard healing potions.
No, everyone can just take them if you
we
need
just have 2 each, right?
Yes.
Each? Okay.
You guys can divide the 2 health potions I would have had amongst yourselves.
it. You would have to requisition them, receive them, and then give them to the group.
Oh, that wouldn't bother then.
I already this
Oh,
makes me
wow,
8
dick.
potions,
Okay.
So I think I'm okay with it. Let's see. Then, yeah, he has the potion. No, I have it. I forget where I got it from though. All right then. Is there anything else around the camp that might be of interest to us? Anything that we've seen?
There's a dwarf with a giant warhammer about the size of 2 of him. There's a woman with a battle axe the size of 2 of her. There's a woman that is currently playing with nunchucks. There is a man that is currently throwing daggers inside of a small 5 foot by 5 foot by 5 foot pit. For some reason. Other than that,
Yeah.
everything else is just winding down for the day.
I would have also, like, dragged... I don't know. I guess I'll leave it in, like, wherever I'm sleeping. My big old warhammer. Unless that was one of the things that was being dragged.
I was. Okay, I figured out how I was gonna. I was gonna try and imbue enough magic energy into it that the cantrip was permanent on the gauntlets.
I would say that would take more than 24 hours.
Yeah.
I would like to have.
Then we could go to
small-
limbo.
I would like to walk back and have some small talk with Cass, and just to get to know her a little bit better. Then I will retire wherever I can retire at, and try to see if I can get back in contact with Jolter by diving into the blade. And if I can't, I go to sleep.
Okay, to quickly surmise through the events, you get to know Kaz a little bit better. She is the eldest daughter of nobles. She is a drow. However, she does have a distinctive genetic birth defect that allows her to be in possession of fire abilities without any hindrance. That, however, does not correlate with the drow folk, which is why she has now been, I would say discarded, but more like kicked out, and is being hunted by the drow. At one point, she was useful, but not once the higher-ups heard of her. mainly because fire is generally descended by a sun god or lawful gods, so it's not really a good thing for a drow to have this ability. She still sometimes keeps in contact with her 2 younger siblings, but that's generally about it. She also likes cupcakes, like pink velvet ones. Let's see, what else did you want to do? You tried to communicate with Gelter, but for some reason it is not connecting. You believe whatever has happened, whatever caused your blades to awaken, has fused, in a sense, yourself with the blade. Maybe perhaps to prepare for something, or for another reason. But you are unable to communicate further. And while you're typing something, is anyone else doing a few other things?
Shade would just find somewhere in shadow so that he could turn invisible while he trances and tries to basically. He's not sure how it works now with the blades, but he's trying to attune to the new blade of sin that he found.
All right. Let's see here. You find an easy enough encampment site outside of the encampment site, ironically enough. You find a good shaded spot and just lose yourself into the forest works. It takes some time, but eventually you do, in a sense, sync up. However, it hits the other blade. You feel it hits the other blade, and it's currently fighting with it. It seems that it's possible, but right now they are just clashing together. Maybe if there's a way to perhaps get a secondary entity into your being that could connect with it. Maybe if you somehow fuse the blade together by some ritualistic function, perhaps giving it to another being to have them wield it and then mind controlling them. These are a few thoughts you can think of, but the mind controlling thing probably wouldn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was wondering, because I do know the ritual for combining all the blades. I was wondering if I found that I couldn't sync with both of them at the same time. Do I believe I could use that ritual to merge just these 2, or that I would need all of them to do that?
The specific ritual, in essence, is to merge the blades. But there's a distinctive feature that can just merge a certain amount of them. You believe that, like the contract that was written beforehand, each time a blade is unearthed and then synced up with someone, that was a possibility of syncing up, and then if you find another blade, there is a chance that you could sync them together. But most people simply just fuse all of them because that's the greatest and powerful, most amount of strength you could possess.
Right. Well, I'm not at the point of wanting to literally just steal all the blades from the rest of my party members, but I think Shade would definitely, if he's somewhere secluded, kind of test out the ritual by trying to combine just the 2 he has.
Alright, that would cost a gemstone of $1,000. No, $1,000.
What's a dollar?
Gem worth 1,000 gold, which you found in the war zone, and then an hour's time of ritual.
If I thought that, then I would go and ask whoever had them if I could have one of the gemstones to try something important.
Mm-hmm. I will specify, however, more blades you infuse, the longer it takes. It adds an additional hour.
Okay. Well, I just have the 2 right now, so.
Yeah.
Out of character, what blades is he fusing?
He doesn't know the second one, and the blade he has, you technically don't know.
But yeah, whoever has the gem, I would have asked. I would go and ask them for one of the gems.
Where did the gems come from? Was it for me and Landwar?
I don't know who picked them up, honestly. I just mentioned them, and no one said, hey, I'll pick this up. Unless they said it in chat, and I did not see it.
No, they were just from the spoils of battle.
Yeah, it was me. No.
Then Shade, you could have probably just taken one if no one else said anything.
I mean, I am a hoarder, so yeah.
Well, I don't know
There's
where.
no
I'm gonna be-
problem with it.
I don't remember. The thing is, I don't remember where they dropped from, so that's why.
I just said them out
Yep.
loud. I didn't give a specification because that would have taken way too long.
I'm gonna show off this cool Warhammer to everyone except Shade.
Yeah, I mean, if nobody has a serious problem with me taking one of them, I will take one and I will
Yeah.
go off and attempt the ritual.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Do your thingy.
So that will take care of itself. And since Bartholomew said something now, Bartholomew, you were hanging on to the Warhammer for some time, showing it off, presenting it to people.
Primarily to like Lan and Kelmore
Mm-hmm.
and Star, and just in case, and well, actually, like, yeah, pretty much everyone in the
Nice
party except
hammer.
for Shade.
Taking your time, showing it off, you do eventually lapse the time where you would accidentally, even if you didn't mean to, sync up with a thing.
I had meant to like get someone to like grab it themselves, whoever wanted it, without telling them about the curse part.
Okay, does anyone try? You don't know about the curse part, and it does look like an exceptionally powerful hammer.
I do explain the positive aspects, like it does 2d10. It's, very strong. And it came from the big giant guy, so how bad can it be?
How do you not know it's in cursed if you know when it does?
Oh, I know it's cursed. They don't.
You're an asshole.
Thank you.
That's kind of how he likes playing his characters. I just roll with it.
That is what he would probably do because he thinks it'd be funny. He has a very twisted sense of humor.
Which is
Just
the
like
reason-
me!
Which is the reason why we roll with it.
Alright, I'll give you 5 seconds if Kelmore or Lan decide to grab it. I think you
Oh,
said everyone
I don't-
except for Shade, so Lydian could too, if they wanted to.
I don't want it. I just let him take it.
No, I just did nice.
Oh.
Nice. Looks nice.
Well, if you really don't want it, I suppose I can take it off your hands.
You can buy it from us.
What is this us thing?
I'm trying to get you money. Shut your mouth.
Nah, if he's gonna sell it, I'm probably gonna rip him off, so you can have it, I guess. And Star just leaves.
The dog's
That
trying
made
to
me
warn you off.
jump.
Alright, then I guess
Made me jump.
whatever horrible thing happens is happening to me.
He's pretty fierce. You guys would be very scared of him.
Okay, let's see. Lan, what are you doing?
Well, I'm kind of like focusing on my blade, like, because now that I know that the ion stone cracked, like something has happened. I'm trying to see if, what has changed, if it's talking to me. Maybe Kelmore's not crazy and the blade does talk to him. I don't know.
Ironically enough, because you waited so long, you try to commune with your blade and
Yeah, try one.
nothing happens. There's no syncing of minds, there's no melding of thoughts. You're just basically
okay.
shaking around and there's no voice. If
Cool,
Kelmore
throw it
was
away.
telling the truth, maybe it's just his blade? Or maybe it's broken.
Kelmore's crazy. Nah, Kelmore's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you've also heard Lillian talking to her blade, so.
Lillian's crazy. I knew y'all were fucking loonies.
Lillian and Kelmore talk to their blades.
Loonies. Bunch of loonies.
It's
Just
a
y'all are.
possibility.
Yep. That's what Lan thinks.
Okay. Then we will go toward Shade's conclusion, which I now lost him on the map.
Oh, I just moved over to the left-hand side because I wasn't in the tent with the rest of them.
That is fair. Huh, that's weird.
Shade's kind of an asshole, man. He doesn't tell us anything.
That's what a lot of you guys do.
Yeah.
What am I hiding? I'm not hiding anything.
Something
You're hiding your
horrible
identity.
is gonna happen to me.
Okay, there we go. Somehow Shade's own Shadowworks worked on the GM.
Yeah, what can I say? Very sneaky.
Okay. I'm gonna have to change the tempo of the music, and that is the wrong thing. No, it's not a rave.
Oh,
Let's see here. Price sounds appropriate, but let's see if it's just the Price of Right theme song.
da 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 da.
Motorcycle.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. After finishing the spell and after the time that it took you to gather everything and put the inscriptions down, after a while it seemed as if both blades, when you pressed them upon each other and dropped the gemstone on top, it hit, the gemstone merged and melded into the first blade. It then warped the initial blade and warped it down, causing both hilts to merge together and both blades to bend and melt into one another. Afterwards, the hilts begin to extend out, and the blades begin to protrude out even further and curve. Eventually, they do stabilize. In essence, you now have what appears to be a longsword if it was a different type of blade.
Okay.
I'm not sure what kind of blade you had to begin with.
My original one was a short sword.
Yeah, it would be a longsword at this point. I don't know if you can still use it, but
I can.
as you melded both blades together, something clicks in upon you. The infusionary script begins to bend into your spirit, and even with your corrupted body, because one of the blades was already synced up with you, the other is fully able to integrate. You then feel the marks that you had possessed on your body, but are now invisible. I forget why, but I made mention of it a while ago.
Time travel.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Timey-wimey BS.
Begin to burn into your flesh once more. You then hit the ground, and for a split second, your right eye burnt, pulsed, and you then look up. In the quick glance around you, you see someone far out in the distance, roughly 120 feet from your initial sight. You're in shadow and darkness, and even if you do have shark vision, that'd be interesting. Dark vision, that would be too far to see, let alone within the shrubbery and the grass. Whatever had synced up with you, it enhanced your ability of sight, even in darkness. You now have two things that are now inscribed upon you, so long as you possess this blade. That is true sight and eagle sight.
Okay then.
Damn, that's nice.
Fight neat.
Okie dokie.
Congrats.
Done taking things from us.
Taking valuable resources and just like taking them and disappearing them.
As that
Yeah, you should
happens,
stop that.
however, something syncs up within your mind and you see a glimpse of the past which you have felt beforehand. You take a glimpse at the giant spear that makes this weapon eventually, if you get all seven. Collect all seven. You then see the former wielder of seven raise it up to the sky and begins to shout and cast something from the blade. Go ahead and roll. Actually, do you have proficiency in Arcana?
Nope.
Go ahead and roll Arcana. As pools and droplets of light begin to shine around the blade, you see verdant grass begin to grow around them. But before it grew out, you saw dead bodies died carcasses of various giant things. A war zone turned into a floral, beautiful garden. Whatever they cast, it was something they felt that it needed to change the very environment around them. And then that sinking stops, and you're back into your position.
Okay. So the giant spear we use to cast a spell that I don't know because I don't know Arcana.
Apparently.
Okay. Interesting.
Maybe y'all shouldn't have been shit.
Cool.
I do have a question. Do we get anything more like that are like anything specific to our blades now? Each person's blade.
The first dimensional awakening would enhance your abilities, which you should have already received. The second
Yes.
one then ramps it up by the things I just gave you.
I know. Is there anything that's for everybody? I'm asking. Is there anything specific to each person's blade that changes?
No, mainly because they're already overpowered to begin with. However, they can eventually get even more overpowered if you have the ritual that Shade has, or if you collect all 7.
What about the? You said this mine had more abilities that I could get or something. How would I? Do I have those now or?
What were the first initial abilities I gave you?
I have to look. Tapping abilities, yeah, plus 2 to main stat, pro charisma save, deception and persuasion, plus 2 blade, and then tap into abilities that powerful charisma creatures have.
I think I wrote them down, but I never gave them to you. That would be Charm Person, Charm Monster, and Talk to Plants and Animals.
What are the usages on those?
Once a day.
Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, that's exciting. What does the new sword do?
It still is the... Just to make it simpler, it'll still be the equivalent of your short sword. Just the additional bonuses. Because if I gave you the stats that the other blade gave, that would just be giving too much to one player.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Do I know what the other shard was then?
Let's
Isn't
see.
Shade already the most broken character in the game in the party?
Surprisingly enough, no.
Well, he's a dex-based character, so that was this basically at the start. So
Yeah.
Let's see. We already have Pride, you know that for sure. You already have Wrath. And I'm going to be quite honest, I forgot which one Lillian received because you received one, but I didn't actually remember which one you decided to choose.
Me?
Yes,
I got Lust.
last. Okay. Let's see. Shade was Envy.
Mhm.
So the last initial blades other than blades other than Sloth, because you mainly know who has that one.
Mm.
Looking at my notes, which one the guy had.
Snorlax has Sloth. I know it.
Isn't that the one I wanted?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, who doesn't want Snorlax? Everyone wants Snorlax.
Exactly.
You have
I'm
now
champ.
Gluttony.
Okay. Gluttony and envy. That's probably not a great combination.
Sloth is the one I wanted to combine with mine, right?
Yes.
Yes. The last one still out there, but you already know where one should be, is Sloth and Greed. But I'm going to say that's probably your day, Shade.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, once that was all done, once I had a chance to recover, I would just go to the tent and tell them, I think I saw a glimpse of where one was. It's only about 120 feet off in the distance. Instead of just going and doing that myself, because that seems like a really stupid idea.
You want to go and check it out?
This is probably around the same time Bartholomew was showing off the hammer and seeing if anyone would take it.
Do you want to check it out, Shade?
Yes.
Knowing my like weird turns of luck, it's probably gonna be like, I should probably get rid of this thing before I get the curse. That I get the curse.
Before
So
I get
whatever
the clap,
horrible
I mean
thing
the curse.
happens.
Let's go on.
Uh-oh. I think the music just changed.
It did.
I will follow Shade to go look for this image he knows.
Yeah, I'll go with you guys. I'm not doing anything else, I guess. Since you don't want company. Hmm?
Alright, it seems that Lan, Kelmore, and Shade are heading to the forest.
I'm following Shade.
Two? Is it been if we rested?
No.
No.
Oh. Well, whatever. I've still got most of it. Oops.
Glutton bee.
Alright, entering into the area of the forest, you do encounter what appears to be a giant, massive expanse of simple and plain things. Thankfully enough, however, because Shade was already here, you were able to discern and depict where likely they would have gone. However, they're no longer there when you look at it. Go ahead and roll survival to interpret where their more than likely path would take them. There are two directions you could have potentially have taken. One would be further south into the war zone, and the other one would be further west where your encampment site would be.
What do you think, group?
If they were going towards our encampment, we would have seen them above us, wouldn't we?
I would have imagined Shade taking you around where he was, simply so he wouldn't directly be spotted. Unless you decide otherwise.
No, I mean, that makes sense.
I'll just go with Shade. I don't care which direction we go.
So there's two options, south or west.
Yeah, so west just goes back to where we were. And south heads back to the battlefield.
Correct.
What do you guys think? I don't think that they would. Do you think that whoever it was would just wait till we left the encampment and then gone back to where we were, or do you think that they moved away to the battle site?
They may have gone
I
to
don't
the
know.
battle site.
Good question.
I have a question. We got a view from their perspective, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Anything about them, like, did they any part of their body when they were doing that?
They were definitely taller than you.
Were there any big tracks then?
Did we see their arm or their hand or anything?
Like most third-person perspective visuals, you don't really see the entire base form. If you saw tracks, they would be behind them, which would be a very interesting thing if they could see behind them when they're looking in front of them
No,
as
I mean,
well.
aren't we here now? Like where they were? Can we see their tracks?
Go ahead and roll survival, but right now, you're Lan. Shade can only interpret south or west.
I'm pretty sure his survival's probably better than mine, but I got it. Hey.
Noise.
Both of you feel that it's heading south.
To the south. That way.
Works for me. Lead the way.
Yeah, I'll definitely track her. Let me lead the way.
All right, the team heads south, and this is what you encounter.
Wait. I know that guy.
Hey Angus, how's it going?
Looking at you, you can...
Shit.
Let's see here. Looking at you, you can tell that Angus is still heading to the south direction. However, once you just shout out, "Hey Angus, how's it going?" They turn around
Hi.
with a bright smile. I'm gonna do the terrible Angus voice because I don't remember how to do it.
Hang on, is Angus the former player character that like went on the run?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
he
he
didn't go
said
on
he
the
had
run. He
plans
just
for
kind
him.
of
I
left.
said I could take him back over if you wanted, but he said nah.
All right. If you want to take him over, the basic gist is Angus, after finding a place for his old friend, wanted to get back to the team to at least deliver the Blade of Sin back to them. For one simple, solitary reason. While he was away and out of sight, a lot of people were coming after him for some apparent reason. Eventually, his friend figured out that it was the Blade. Angus was still having doubts on that. But he had agreed to come back to the team because he at least knew that there it would be safe. So
Oh, guys!
he left his
He
friend
waved his big old orangutan arms around.
in another
Hey,
city
yeah.
while he made his way here. And he heard about a war further south, and knowing his companions, that's likely where they'll be.
And then he'll head back to Angela, I think her name was.
It was Angela, yes.
Yes. All right.
Hey there,
Hi,
man.
friends. How you doing?
I'm doing
Angus.
well. What about you?
Who's
We
that?
missed you.
I don't know, some furry mongrel guy that I heard about.
Yeah, he's Angus.
Old
He,
friend of ours.
I don't
He,
know. Something about him I don't like.
He left
Wait,
us
this is the guy
living
that
a good
this
life.
is the guy that has
Living the good life.
This is the guy that has the blade I was looking for, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't think you know his name, but you knew of his
I-
last location.
I don't think we even told you
Oh, I
about that
went in the pool of
information.
knowledge, though, didn't I?
Yeah, that's how
Fine.
you knew his
No,
last
no.
location.
I don't think we even told you about that. So I don't think you can really ask.
Oh, I don't know about the blade.
I don't believe you know he has the blade, but I think they've spoken about Angus beforehand, but not about the connections.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll
we
take
probably
it
didn't
back.
mention that. Yeah, we wouldn't have mentioned the bleach. Easy puppies.
I'm not 100% sure on that, but I don't remember that.
I don't believe we were ever told or her that about Angus having the blade.
I'm gonna turn that up. Hear you.
So Angus,
Turn shade
how's
up.
it going, man? What you doing here?
Oh, I was just looking for you guys, actually. There were some people who were chasing us when we got separated back at that one place by the fight pits. And yeah, Angela said that it was the little stabby sword that we found that's making me do that. That's making them do that.
Is that so?
Yeah, well, that makes sense. These damn things are nothing but trouble. Although they do help a little bit. But are you coming to help us, or are you just coming to give it to us? Or
I
you...
came to give it to you. I gotta go back to Angela. Gotta protect her and all that from this horrible world. I hope you don't mind. I just got.
Nah, I don't mind, man. You helped us out a lot.
Hang on. Did he say it was a blade? You know?
He
said
said
he-
the sword.
He said a sword and that he planned on giving it to us.
I said stabby sword, if you want to be specific. So.
yes.
The
that.
stabby sword. Yes.
Well then, Angus, I don't mind taking it off your hands. I'll reach out for it before Shade can. so
Can
he
I
actually
dive into
show
that
you.
pool of knowledge and see if I can find out where the dude is that has the other one?
Go ahead and roll history.
think it
Angus, Kelmore, Shader there lands in the background. Lane would probably be next to you guys.
Yeah.
I hold my hand out to Angus, or I'll take it off your hand.
Bartholomew / Angus. Lillian, you can tell that the entity is now in the forest where you're currently at.
Oh wait, he has what I was looking for.
Are you saying this
Hey,
out
what?
loud?
Who's the tiny lady?
Just someone who wanted to come with us for a while.
What, you were looking for something?
Lillian, she's nice.
Yeah, I was looking for the blade of sloth. It's in the forest, so
I don't
I
know. Angela told me I shouldn't be giving things to strangers.
Well, then you can give
would
it
be
to
what
me.
she told you. From what I remember, your strongest ties to the group were Lan, Shade, Kelmore, Star. So probably Bartholomew and Lillian are strangers to you, and knowing
Yeah.
your friend,
He wouldn't
Yeah.
give it to Bartholomew for sure. He
Yeah.
looked shady as hell.
Yeah. Bartholomew wouldn't give it to Bartholomew.
Based on what you feel, Angus, who would he give it to? I would allow you to do it. Knowing your friend, she would probably tell you not to give it to strangers. But you can interpret,
Sure.
see, you can roll insight to see if these guys aren't bad people.
Roll a d4, I guess, between me, Kelmore,
Access to his
or
trouble.
Shade, I guess.
I do have access to his character sheet. Hold up. Let me.
I never write
Or
them.
d3.
Once Roll20 decides to load, I'll roll insight. Whenever it decides to do that.
See if Bartholomew or Lillian are bad people.
I mean, it's gonna need to be fairly high for Bartholomew.
That's
I'm just
true.
gonna reload Roll20. Oh, come on! It loads right as I hit reload.
hey, come on. Lillian looks like a good person. She's in her princess outfit.
You're also a stranger.
I thought you.
Admittedly, an adorable stranger, but a stranger nonetheless. Hold up, yeah. Gotta refresh Roll20 because it decided to be slow and stupid.
It does that.
Woo! Actually, can I roll two different ones? One for Lillian, one for Bartholomew?
Sure.
I mean, obviously the DC is set by you, so.
Yeah.
As soon as the thing loads in about 400 years. There
You
it
have
is.
advantage or disadvantage because they're strangers.
I have a question. Can I roll persuasion against him?
No.
It would just be his base insight on who's a good person. God, there we go.
Can I
Jesus.
cast Sharp Person on him?
No.
No.
I know you really want that blade, but so that one was for left to right. So
Lillian seems fine enough. She doesn't seem like a deathly assassin that is holding your friends prisoner.
all right, and for Bartholomew. Oh wow, okay.
Bartholomew seems dirty, grungy. Maybe he's in a band, one of those traveling bard groups you've heard about.
If he plays a song, I'm down.
Other than the muck and grime on him, he seems malleable, or easily a nice enough guy.
Let me ask you both a question. Are you controlling them in any way? You like witches controlling their brains?
Out of character. What do you mean?
Oh, Angus is just. First of all, you could just answer
smart.
yes, and he would be completely fine with it. But also, like, he's just basically asking, "Are you like mind controlling them or some shit?"
Are we mind controlling the sword?
No,
mind controlling the
Shade,
party?
Kelmore, and Lan.
His friends, us.
No, dude. No, we're friends. Me and Lynn work really well as a team.
All right.
She's
He'll-
starting to figure it out. We're becoming a well-oiled machine here. We lost our brawny savior, but we have other things to help us now.
I'm gonna
You're
look
the
at him.
Brownie
Is he,
savior.
hey, are you injured in any way?
Me?
Is he?
No, he does have a lot of blood on him, which I probably should have mentioned beforehand, but it's not any of his blood.
Do you mind if I
okay.
clean the blood off you?
Okay, tiny lady.
It's not as if you clean the blood off of yourself to begin with.
I use precipitation to remove the blood.
It looks just about the same. He doesn't do that so often that it's actually stained this color now.
His mane is actually
Like,
black.
But the new one's
He
actually
doesn't
gone.
bathe.
Wait,
He
wait,
doesn't
I'm confused.
bathe.
Wait, what happened?
The new
Is-
layer leaves, but it honestly looks exactly the same underneath.
Huh?
The
That's
new layer
weird.
because he's stank ass.
You removed a layer of grime, but it's still like discolored
Yeah.
because of how nasty
Oh,
he is.
He's
we
just
have-
permanently gross.
At a certain
gross and
point,
So he has a
stinks.
lot.
it is no longer
So
grime,
we have-
it is dyed.
So
That
why
skin is
do I
bad
keep-
from nasty.
So how many times would I have to do this to get rid of it?
You would honestly
yes.
be easier if you just get
Forever.
him a new one.
Get him a new one.
At a certain point,
new
though,
skin.
Star does find you guys. Oh, there you guys. Oh, what's up? So, anyways, why'd you guys leave me in the tent town?
You usually end up finding us.
That's
We had to find our friend.
It wasn't on purpose.
Sorry about that, Star.
It's fine if you wanted to know. I mean, if we're gonna ambush Angus out here and give him a hug, I'm down with that.
I'll
So,
leave the hugging to you.
Although first I chokehold him and see if it's really him.
pretty sure it's him.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
his neck is
definitely
too
kill
thick,
him.
or
His neck is too thick. But this is Star being Star. Angus, I think he met
Yeah.
her a couple times.
I think I met her once, like at the pits.
Yes, you met her once. And then I think like a couple sessions after that, Angus left.
Yeah. I do regret leaving him. Oh well. Too late. Anyway, so I'm just gonna reach over to Kelmore since he's closest and just go to hand him the blade of sloth.
Okay. You come up to him, drop it in his hands. Nothing happens. No end of the world scenario. No Evil Dead coming out of nowhere. Star looks at the blade and simply goes, "Oh, that's who had it." Neat.
Thanks, Angus.
Oh yeah, welcome.
So how's your lady friend and you? Doing okay?
Ah, she's fine. Just gotta keep looking for, or have we found Dad, quote unquote?
You have found Dad, quote unquote. However, it is
Obviously
a
not his real name, but
it is half a month's trip from where you're currently residing at. Angus has his own missions he's going into.
I got my own things to do now. Gonna be like helping at the house again. So you know. Thank you.
Oh, we're gonna miss you, Angus. You and your sweet words, kind demeanor.
Star comes over and says, "Well, if you're gonna go, you might as well go out in style. If you want me to teleport you there."
Oh, sure, that'd be nice of you.
All right, this is gonna really hurt your head, though. She hits the temple
I'm
of
used
your
to
head,
it.
and she begins to scry a memory of where you're currently at. It does hurt for a split second, but Angus is, I want to say, dumb enough to feel it, and then it's gone.
He just scratches his head.
You know. All right.
It's made an itch.
That was a lot more information than I needed, but I did manage to track down your location, which is good. So I can teleport you there. But, gets closer to Angus, whispers it, but anyone with a past perception of 13 can easily hear her, because she's not subtle. Look, between you and me, Angus, you could probably look better. Lillian, you might want to turn that way, points to the left, for like 3 seconds. If you don't, that's perfectly fine, but I'm just going to tell you, you're going to be scarred for like a little bit.
I'm gonna look the other way.
Okay. Immediately, she snaps both fingers, puts them into an X symbol for a quick second. Angus, immediately your former layer, rather than your armor, begins to disintegrate away, and then in a split second soon after, a new layer of clothing begins to emerge. So for like half a second, you were technically nude.
There's enough fur there. She'd have been fine.
Yeah, but Star
Oh,
didn't know
where
that.
Mama go?
Your armor is perfectly fine. It's still grungy looking and probably needs a good buffing.
Oh, okay. She just changed clothes on me. Okay.
Yeah, anything that would actually stain and smell. Yeah, it's a good thing there's a lot of fur on you, or else that would have been really awkward. Lillian, you can look now. Unless you don't want to. But she looks towards you and simply states, "All right then, anything you want to say to the guys and new guy and gal?"
Oh, just to have a good day. You know, do your job, saving worlds and whatnot. I'm gonna miss you guys. You've all been great. And then, you know, he'll go up for like a big ol' hug. Why not? Just a big old group hug.
I'll give Angus a hug. You too,
Oh,
Angus.
Angus.
Happy trails.
His arms are long enough to reach out around all of you, so don't worry about it.
You can tell
If
that
you're not-
Shade is like 15 feet away, so even with your gangly legs, even with your lengthy arms, you can't reach him. But you don't really know that. I'm gonna say Angus thinks he's in the hug. A good amount of people are hugging you.
He's small enough to where he wouldn't even
Shade
notice.
put his shade in the hug.
But as you're doing that, Star snaps her fingers, and you begin to disappear until you realize, back in the town you were, that you're back here.
That guy
And
was
doing
weird.
your own thing.
Bye, Angus.
Huh.
Bye bye.
The only other person I
Yeah,
liked in
that.
this group. And they're gone now.
I thought you liked Bartholomew.
The only other person. Now I'm
I
gonna
thought we
ditch
were
you guys in this forest until you remember I'm here.
I thought we were your paid
Hi.
friends, Star.
I stopped paying you 2 days ago.
Well, that doesn't mean that we have to stop being your friends.
She just shouts out, I stopped paying you.
Well, we on our side don't have to stop. We don't want to. I yell back.
At this point, she's gone. She probably did hear that, but she didn't respond after that.
Well, shall we go back, guys, and get our rest?
Alright. Who has the sword right now?
Me.
Kelmore does.
Gilmore
Can I please
does.
have that,
Oh,
Kilmore?
sweet.
How do you
Have
get
what?
it?
What?
I said have what?
The sword.
The sword that Angus just gave?
Yes, I've been looking for that. That's why I came to the town.
Why?
I think.
Why do you get it?
I think for a little bit, and I'll ask her, why do you want it? It's not like they're all that valuable all together.
Because it complements lust.
As I recall, I do know a
Wow.
bit about his combination of the weapons, some of it, and I think to myself, do I know if sloth and lust complement each other?
They would complement each other in a, I was about to say mythological sense. In a
Metaphorical?
metaphorical sense. You just don't know if both are combined, it would do something.
Well, I wouldn't say that you've been cagey. Oh, wait a minute. We don't even have the stone for this weapon.
Lan and Shade remember that theirs broke.
The stones. are
Everything is
broken.
broken.
These are awakened now, my friend.
Does
There's
that mean
nothing to contain them.
does that
Yeah.
mean sloth has awakened as well? Does it need the stone or a user beforehand?
Hmm,
The stone limit them.
the stone was to limit them and keep the wielder from decaying away.
So the stone is optional regardless of anything of the above.
In essence, yes.
I ask Lillian, does your original weapon have your stone, even if it's cracked now?
Repeat that.
Did your blade of lust have a stone?
Yes.
I think about it for another minute, then I'll hand it over. All right,
Thank
Lillian,
you.
but be cautious.
So we have 6 out of the 7 now, right?
Yes.
And the 7th one is in camp.
I better get the next one.
You have a blade of virtue.
Right.
Look at me. Look at me. Do I look like a virtuous person?
That's what I was
Hope
wondering.
is
I'm
neat,
like,
I guess.
why does the least virtuous person have the blade of virtue on this group? Not
Listen.
that I should have it or anything, but
I have something important to tell you. I have known something for a long time now. And Shade will hold up the sort of melded, twisted,
Glutton V.
the glutton bee he has.
I thought he loved me or something.
Yeah.
Damn.
I
That looks pretty sick.
know how to combine the blades.
We know that too. We just never done it.
You don't know the ritual.
Yeah, we
You just
we
know
don't
that they
Not the
can
ritual, you just know
combine.
it can be.
That's
Yeah,
what
we
I
don't know
meant.
that.
That we knew that it could be done. Is what I meant.
I know how to do it.
And you've also done it.
I tried it
Looks
earlier
like-
today with the 2 blades that I had.
Are you okay with all your
The
tattoos?
2 blades you
now?
had, what?
Yeah, wait a minute.
It appears Bartholomew has already failed in his quest to get the next one.
You what, mate?
When I combined
What?
these,
What?
I received a vision of all 7 combined into a mighty spear, which was used to cast some kind of spell that made the world around it grow more verdant. Star, do you know anything about this?
She's not here. Did
Nah,
leave?
she came back.
Left.
I
Oh,
rolled for
there.
something, and out of game, in game, she got bored in town and decided to wander back.
Hello there, friend.
Depends on what you're asking.
Well, do you have any idea what kind of spell a giant spear made of 7 fused blades of sin could cast that would make grass grow better?
In theory, I can tell you.
I mean, because I received a vision of it, but I don't know much about magic, so I couldn't tell you what it is.
Yeah, that's fair. From the way you described it, I'm just gonna say you describe it again. It seems to be something akin to a very powerful wish spell.
There you go. So, here's the thing. We know where the final blade of sin. It's back at camp with that scout. We have the other 6. We have one more gem that's valuable enough to do the ritual.
Question.
It would
question.
take several hours, but we could combine them into the giant spear.
I have a question. First is Bartholomew has a blade of virtue on hand, which I know he doesn't particularly care for. I'm curious though, could that be used in conjunction as well?
I could use it to stab you repeatedly for holding it from me.
I didn't know he had a second one.
I was talking to about Shay, not you. Don't worry. You're safe as far as he knows.
Shade, the ritual you currently have only combines sins.
Yeah, I think it would only combine the sins. I think it's the shards of sin, from what I gather, aren't actually meant to be 7 different pieces. They are one big thing,
Wait a minute.
broken into 7.
I thought the original ritual to make the Blades of Sin required all 7 sins, so wouldn't it have been originally separated? It required the sins of humanity, right?
Not necessarily. Star then states, "You're so lucky she got bored in town." Each entity is capable of producing any 7 sins all out together. Just because Lan has pride doesn't mean he isn't also gluttonous for something. Maybe the opposite sex, money, stuff. I really don't know what you're into, Lan. No offense.
I don't know what you're talking about, pride. I don't even know what you mean.
What?
Right.
Hmm.
Anyways, but one entity can house all 7. It's just mainly is that one entity just shows one more than others sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think that would make. I don't think any of us can handle the strain of.
Maybe not. At least not unless your body is malshapen or malformed, or some type of reaction has occurred upon you, where
Angus, where are you? We need you. No.
magical properties are lessened on you, allowing you to survive the process. Based on what Shade has already described, though, if I had to wager, and this is only an assumption on my part, is whatever that first wielder of all 7 cast was likely to bring back the dead from what had happened and transpired. From what my dad has told the rest of your group, our group, I really don't know if you include me, and I don't really care. But if you do or not, hooray? Anyways, based on the information that we acquired, the elder beings created these weapons to destroy the gods. If I had to wager, once all were infused together, this would allow them to cast the wish spell so powerful it would destroy their enemies, including the gods.
Yeah, let's
However-
not put those there.
However, she does state, more than likely the first wielder had decided they saw enough bloodshed and decided to revert things back, and that is more than likely how the good guys won. She just makes a fake gesture of go team. It's just a guess, honestly. So if we do put them all together, we could probably figure out a way of just destroying these elder monstrosities, or putting things and reverting them back to the point of where they were no longer here.
Well, if it helps, Shade, if you were to willing to, I'll be willing to see if I get a vision that would.
We'd have to use the other gem we found. And we
Yes, I know, but it might give me an idea of. I might have more of the picture that you did, like part of the picture you didn't get it. We can put our heads together.
Shay, did you tell him everything about that blade you got?
I just told them that I combined the two that I had to it.
Then I
Okay.
didn't say that.
Because you know that your blade is the hilt.
Right. Oh, shoot.
Hey,
Okay.
about the ritual, I don't think we even have enough gems. Doesn't it require more gems for each blade?
1 gem per cast, more time per number of blades.
I'm
Sorry.
character. I'm laying claim to the other gem.
Okay. DM. The sins that Shade has are envy and gluttony. And are they still affecting his personality now that they've been awakened?
They are still affecting you, but in the same stance as they normally would an individual person. However, envy is still upon you in greater strides than others. Because of the now awakening, it is simply a part of you. You know it's there, you know it exists. You can tap into it if you'd like, or choose to move along, as it is now you in essence.
Right.
Shade, if you don't mind, can I speak to you privately for a little bit over to the side?
Yeah, you sort of shake Shade out of a reverie for a second. He seemed to be like thinking, yeah, sure.
This way.
I wish I was good at stealth. I just follow them because I want to know all of his secrets now. Because I dislike him for
ahead.
holding that blade from me.
I mean, you see where they are, you just can't hear them.
How far away are they?
Enough that past perception wouldn't do this.
Would a 23 get passive on there?
No.
What about if I
No,
send
no,
my
no.
familiar over?
I will tell you that Star would probably shoot it down.
And you don't know this, but I'd be able to see it.
Yeah.
We don't know this now.
It's not invisible.
True sight.
No.
He can
It's
I'm
not
talking about just
invisible.
stealthing over, but yeah, never
If you
mind.
could, like, just fly it over or whatever, I'd be
Yeah.
able to see it, yeah. So it wouldn't say anything.
I know, but you wouldn't know what it is because you haven't seen me use it.
Okay. if you haven't used it or haven't summoned it, people in the current group that you're in would be able to see you do that. That's all I'm saying. If you decide to, something happens, something doesn't happen, up to you. Come on, Shade.
All right, Shay. Thank you for allowing me this private conversation. Oh, by the way, DM, what would be my companion blade for Wrath?
You've never looked into it, so you don't know.
Well, the Shade and Lillian just made mention of what their opposite blade would be. I just thought I'd ask. But anyways, Shade,
I got that because I went into that pool of knowledge.
it's fine. Shade, there was something I wanted to talk to you a bit about. It seems that you're rather interested in remaking the weapon. This will be my first question. Is there a reason why in particular you feel we might need to remake the weapon? It doesn't seem that there is a great need for it at this time, unlike before.
I believe that it has powers that could be useful to us.
If that's the case, then, well, my thought in mind was they had this wish-granting device. So, what happened? Why is the world now? And what happened to the person who used it? It seems, I don't know, that there's something we're missing. Maybe a consequence, a price, or maybe just something I'm not even thinking of. It seems that this weapon, do you know, ever heard the story of the monkey's paw? It kind of reminds me about that, at least a little bit. I might be stretching it, I might be completely wrong, it might be completely free, which would be rare, but it's possible. But it's just a thought in my mind. It could be something similar to the monkey's paw. Have you considered that?
I have. However, as Star mentioned, some people could have certain protections from things like that. Certain people like me.
You mean the tattoos?
I am not as susceptible to magic as some others, let's say.
As shady as always, Shade. Alright, I am willing to consider. I just have a few issues with your suggestion. The first is, I don't even know if my blade will work anymore. Not because Jolter is gone, but because, well, as I rub my blade, it's because when I made mention before, I was caught in that ritual. 1 second. When I was caught in the ritual all those years ago, the main problem is I was almost sacrificed, almost killed by that bitch and her little slave boy. But I don't think I've ever made mention of this before, but the blade my mother made for me, it had a special feature in it. Apparently, it wasn't just an artificial tome of swords. It also had a protection feature. I'm not sure the scientific reasoning behind it, but apparently it merged with the Blade of Sin, and that's how I still possess a great deal of information of my mother's works inside of it, and how I was able to learn Runic Scribe magic and learn all my other spells I use. So it's pretty much where I store all that information at, and where I get some of what I need to cast my spells. I'm not even certain, because of that, I don't even know if it's even possible that it could be used anymore. I think we might need another opinion before we try it, because if we try it and it fails, we might screw ourselves over.
I can't say. All I know is how to do it, what's necessary.
The next thing is, if we do have one wish without consequence or whatnot, there is a small request I'd like to make.
Yes.
When you make, I assume you would have to be the one to make the wish. I would like it that when you make it, that if you could swing 2 additional things within the wish if possible. The first is, I would like to have all the information in another Tomb of Swords, if possible, of all the works and knowledge that's in the blade. And the second is that I would like Jolter, the personality, to be reincarnated as another flesh and blood sister, if it's possible.
I can make no promises, and I cannot even say if it would be me that did it. But let's just say we're friends, and if it is me, I will definitely keep it in mind.
Understood. Thank you, Shade. When the time comes, I will hand over the blade. But I think we might want to put in a little effort to make sure that it can even work, because I'm not sure if it can.
I've already run one successful test.
Well, I meant the whole fact that my blade is fused with another blade part. We might want to talk to someone to see.
Yeah. Maybe Star would have an idea.
As you
Alright.
think that, Star just gets closer. Shade, Lillian, you both can easily tell that she got closer. But even if you didn't, she just shouts out, "Hey guys, are you done yet? I'm kind of now bored in the forest now."
Sorry, Star. Yes, we are. Thank you, Shade. I have a question for you if you think you might be able to answer.
Depends on what.
My sword, the Blade of Wrath, it, when it was being in the process of being awakened, another sword that was bound to me, known as an artificial tomb of blades, or what was it called again? Tomb of Swords? Was that what it was?
Yes.
An artificial tomb of swords was given to me by my mother as a coming of age. Ow! As a coming of age gift, and it sacrificed itself, in a manner of speaking, infused with the blade of sin to protect me. And I am uncertain of what the ramifications would be if we tried a ritual again to fuse all these blades into one.
Do you present the sword to her?
Sure.
You present the sword to her, and for a quick second, you did not know when she grabbed the blade from your hands. She didn't do it forcefully, she's now examining it. And then when you realize this, it's back in your hands, and then she simply states, from what I can tell, everything was integrated back into the Sin Shard. The knowledge, skills, and attributes that your mom probably put into your gift of age, or whatever you called it, it's still in there. You can probably still tap into stuff if you want. It's just the other entity that you claim is in there, or was in there, is no longer there. It's possible to replicate this thing, but you would need someone to have the knowledge of making a Tomb of Swords to begin with. I think there was a blacksmith in the Shadowfell we could talk to, but we need to find a way there.
I believe the other woman can also make it, correct?
I think she can prepare it, and there's a possibility, but it'd be running the risk of perhaps losing the information altogether. I just
Alright,
don't
then.
know the entire skill set of her skill. Maybe there's an 80% chance and a 20% chance of failure.
Thank you, Star. It seems, Shade, that there's a good chance that it will work, though I'm not 100% sure.
Lillian, I have an idea. You said that when you dove into the font of knowledge that you found that those two blades were complementary to each other.
Yes.
What happens if you just touch them together?
I will touch them together.
You touch them together, and immediately, similar to magnets, they repel each other and swing down with a massive amount of force.
Fucking
You pick them
magnets,
back
how
up.
do they work?
And then, it's gonna take some studying, but eventually, I'm just gonna say you do it. You figure out that you can make an additional attack now with both blades together.
Okay.
Interesting. There's a lot more
Would
to
that-
these things than just being sharp, pointy objects.
So
it seems.
would that additional attack go away if I fuse them?
More than likely. You don't know how to fuse them, you just know they can be fused.
So like, how do I get this that I can make another attack?
What do you mean?
Well, how do I know that I can make another attack with both blades?
I'm just gonna tell you that you figure it out. It would take some testing, prodding, but I'm just gonna say you deduce this. Basically, I'm just giving it to you.
Okay. So basically, that's like a bonus action attack.
Yeah.
Wow, I feel stronger.
You said they were supposed to complement each
Cool
other.
for you, I guess.
My
Don't
friend.
mind Bartholomew, he's just salty.
I think maybe it would be in our best interest to see if we can acquire the last blade.
We would have
Best
to
to have it
talk
on
her.
the list.
I would like to try that ritual with these two.
Thank you, Star, for your help.
Got bored.
Friend,
What?
Oh, it's just Star
Okay.
being Star.
so let's go back to camp then. We'd have to do that to do the ritual anyways. I assume we go back to camp.
If that's what you do.
Yeah, Shade's gonna follow. He's avoiding answering Lillian about trying the ritual on her two blades.
That's fair. Eventually you realize that Star went to go speak with the woman with the last blade. Everyone else went to the tent. Maybe we should discuss things, maybe just to take a long rest because you still have to do that.
I put up my house. I don't use a tent.
You put up your house and go sleep in it. I'm gonna say you wake up early tomorrow and then discuss this further on because you do need to take that long rest. And officially level up. So, with the long rest and the decision on hand whether to go and deal with the... You would know that these 5 entities that they have discovered are the avatars of the primordial evil things that came before everything. You will have to deal with them, or you can go back on the war front and see what may lie next. Either way, with a good long rest and deciding what to do next with the blades, or maybe just deciding that, hey, an extremely powerful wish spell that could kill the gods, maybe more further thinking would be appropriate as we end the session for today.